Good morning. Today is the 13th of February 2025 and I'm going to go through my watch list and plan for today. Before we start, let's look to see what news could and did move the market. We had PPI come in at 8:30, core PPI, jobless claims, and we did see a big reaction to that. Down to the 5, we had this big indecision candle, and now we're operating in the upper 50% of that candle, so a bit of a bullish candle, but we haven't taken out the pre-market high yet. So okay, so that's PPI, which moved the market earlier. So what have we got for the rest of the day? Not a great deal. We do have 30-year bond auction. You know, it says 1 out of 3. Keep an eye on that at 1 PM. because that can sometimes cause a bit of movement in the market. Okay, so on my screen we are looking at the 1 hour time frame for the S&P 500 E-mini futures, and you can see the last few days we've been chopping around. Let's open up my pen. We've yet to put in a new high. You'll notice, let's just zoom out a bit, you can see very clearly we had that high here from 24th of February, and then we had a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and here we are today. In the meantime, we've been getting lower lows, maybe ignore that one, lower low, lower low. So we are putting in some sort of, we could call it a, epic pen, some sort of flag pattern. So let's go down to the daily, see what that looks like. So this is a daily chart, and we've got this up move, and we're putting in this kind of flag pattern there, not the best of straight lines. Point of control is pretty much where we want to be watching. So we've got the point of control on this and a volume shelf, tops of pivots here, massive area consolidation in the middle, and basically if we break out over this flag pattern long, we could look to put in new all-time highs, or at least get back up to the highs of January. If we lose this flag pattern, then we can look to have a bit of a change of market shift. Volume wise, you can see we've been declining volume. On our red days we've been getting higher volume moves than our green days, so we are seeing a little bit of weakness from the buyers up here, stronger selling. We are pretty extended still from the 200 moving average, and we are currently, although, above the 50 moving average, so you've got a slight bullish bias while we're above this 50 moving average, but it is a sideways 50 moving average, so which is not as powerful as a 50 moving average, which is kind of going upwards. So let's go back down to the hourly and see what levels are on play. Pretty much similar levels we were watching yesterday. I've added a couple more. So we've got this area of overhead demand. What I do, I find it on the hourly and I go down to the 15-minute to fine tune it. If you've been watching previous videos, I normally put levels in, just lines, horizontal lines. But I thought if I put the zones in as well, it'd make it a bit clearer. So, because I always say I don't take a level as a line, I'm looking for a zone, and these are pretty much the zones I'm looking for. Okay, so we've got this big push up today in the pre-market. We sold off in the pre-market, then that 8:30 candle came along and pushed us up. I'm watching for a potential rejection in this area of overhead supply around 60.88 to 60.90, that area. The only one issue, we do have the pre-market high, and I generally like watching for the break and retest of these pre-market highs, pre-market low, but we are breaking into this overhead supply, so it's going to be quite tricky. So if I do go with that, maybe if we go down to the 5 or the 2-minute chart, even there we don't have much room above. You know, we do have a, look at this, this is a 5-minute chart, and we have this area of pre-market supply, and we've got this area of yesterday's post-market supply. I generally only want to look at supply and demand in areas during the market hours, so probably I'm going to remove that. Okay, so just bear that area in mind, because we do have a volume shelf over here as well, which kind of backs up why I had it there. But that's this region here. If we can get over pre-market high, come back and retest, I'll be looking for long into this area of demand. You can see there's extra volume up here as well, and it was during market hours as well. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to mark out my supply and demand areas, and I'm only really interested during market hours, and anything outside of this region, then I'll keep an eye on it, but it'll be a lower probability trade. So this area of demand here, it will be a, oh, let's go back, rectangle. This area of demand here, is, you see the lack of volume in that area. So whereas this area of overhead supply comes in with all this volume as well when we're up there. So all that volume. So generally there'll be more orders sitting up here than it is over here, and that's trying one targeting those areas. Okay, so let's come up with some levels today then. So we've got the break and retest at 60.87 into this overhead area of supply. I'm watching for rejection in this zone, 60.92 to 60.97. If we lose this area, I'll be watching for a break and retest of pre-market low at 60.55 area. Otherwise, that is an area of demand there, so I'll be looking for a potential bounce as well. General trend is sideways. If you go for the last few days, we've been in this big uptrend, and we are now sitting in this sideways, this area here, and we really need, we talked about this yesterday, we've really got to get out of this area to kind of confirm a new trend, or break down from this area to confirm a new trend. So it's going to be a tough day because it's an inside day as well, so bear that in mind. You know, probably best not trading inside days. I didn't take any trades yesterday. I was looking for, well, it didn't set up for me yesterday. I wasn't really looking for a bounce. I did have an area of, to be fair, we had this demand zone, and it already got there in the pre-market, so I really only want to trade 905. Yeah, so it didn't come back and retest that area when I wanted to in the market hours. Could I have got in a bit later? Maybe. I could have got in there, and it would have been a big run. On hindsight, it's a good trade, but what I was looking for, it to come back in and retouch that area, and it never got to that area, so I didn't take a trade. And again, over the last few months, I've got more and more patient. I used to rush into trades and just take them for the sake of it, but now if I don't get it, I don't get it. There's always tomorrow. As I said earlier, inside day today, so it might be harder to trade, but we are putting in this pattern where we are just slightly coming in. We've been taking out the extremes, and then we're going to see what happens. We're either going to break out over this area, 6100 is a key area, break and retest long if you're looking for a swing, or pre-market low, break and retest will be breaking this structure. But we do need to get over yesterday's high and the previous day high, or below yesterday's high and previous day's high, low I meant, sorry, to break this market structure and to hopefully find some new better trades. So that's it for ES SPY. Let's quickly flick over to the order flow. You can see there's not much going on in order flow as well. And this big move, this is a 5 minute on the left hand side, we had this big move up, and now we've just been sitting up in this region here, just accumulating. You can see that on this chart down here. We've got price just going sideways. We've had a slow increase of buyers, of aggressive buying, and then this number came out at 8:30. You can see a big push, and we're holding this area. Curving around, looking more bullish than bearish, but it's pre-market and pre-market levels and pre-market volume, so not something I want to concentrate on until after the market opens. News is what we talked about. Okay, so let's flick back quickly through the other levels. SPY, we do have this slightly better overhead supply area, so keep an eye on that region there. 605.66 for rejection. Otherwise we've got this region here, 608.20 for rejection as well. Otherwise we can watch for a break and retest a pre-market high, knowing that we've got overhead supply and it might be hard to go long there. So I'll see what happens when the market opens. If we come back down, then I'll be looking for a long. We've got to break out through that supply area. And obviously got pre-market low, break and retest short, and you can keep an eye on yesterday's low area here for a bounce. SPX levels are probably the same. Let's see how they look. So yesterday we came into that area there, couldn't break through, and then sold off. Now we're back down here, and now we're kind of filling in that gap again. That delivery man, I'll get that in a second. Otherwise, we can watch for yesterday's high for the rejection area. So I won't want to be going long if we're coming up into yesterday's high on SPX, because obviously that's overhead resistance. We do have volume shelf there as well. I don't want to be going short if we've broken over that area as well, because obviously it's going to be hard to go short. So I'll keep an eye on that. NQ, it's got slightly better levels. I do like this area. We're just kind of back up into this area of supply. We've got our own small area of supply just here, exactly where the pre-market is. So let's watch for two plays here. We're looking for a break and retest long, but we really need to see it break out of yesterday's high rather than pre-market high. Otherwise we can watch this area for a rejection, and that will be 21.920 for rejection. Bounce wise, we can keep an eye on yesterday's low, 21.580 for a bounce. Maybe we can drill down into the 15-minute to find a better area. Okay, so let's just mark it up now. Looking for that's our area of demand, so we can watch that area for a bounce. Let's go back to the hourly, and that's around 21.520 to 21.540, and that's pretty much it. QQQ, again, it's going to be tricky trying to get through this. We do have volume up here as well, but the volume does decline. Let's watch for the break and retest a pre-market high. I do quite like that, 531. Otherwise, like NQ, we are in an area of overhead supply. 531 is also a rejection area, and when I take a rejection, I'm looking for it to come in, come back out, come back in, and then find an entry from that double top. So with confirmation, I want to see it break market structure first, and come back down, come back into that region, and then come back, maybe pull back into that area, and then look for the drop. A bit like a head and shoulders pattern is what I'm looking for. Oil, look at that. Talked about this yesterday, broke that pivot. We did try a pullback, but noticed the lack of volume during those days, and then we had bigger volume on the selling day, so bigger volume there, bigger volume here, as we pulled back all the way back down and put in a new low. Not a new all-time low, just a new low from recent days. So our next area to watch for a bounce is this region here. I'm going to start clearing some of these, I think, because it's getting a bit messy. These are the levels on watch. So this area is a bounce area of demand as well. So 69.70 for the bounce, and there's not much below there. Low volume as well. Gold is still whipping up. Look at that. We've got this uptrend. Come back down, tested the 200 moving average, push back up, not able to take out that high, but look at the increased volume there as well. Increased volume on this bottom tail candle, showing that there is strength in the buyers. If I zoom in a bit, and then we had increase in volume there, increase in volume here, Oh, look at that, increasing volume on the sell-off, and then low volume on the buy. So potentially showing a little bit of weakness at the moment, and then we had a sell-off there. So with a big igniting bar. So I quite like here. I like the pre-market low break and retest, 29.32 break and retest. Goes with this current trend as well, where we put in a lower high. Is that another lower high there? Yeah, just about. So pre-market low goes with the hourly trend and goes with the volume we're seeing as well. Otherwise, if we do hold this pre-market high area, look for a break and retest long to at least get up into that region there. RTY. Keep an eye on this region here for rejection. Got volume, look at that, point of control, lots of volume, big area of confluence as well, bottoms of candles, tops of candles, tops of candles there, and bottoms of candles. So come back in for this 2300 rejection. I'm going to put an alert in that area, so I wouldn't mind trying to find an entry if I can. Otherwise, just keep an eye on pre-market low break and retest to continue this trend down we've been seeing over recent days. YM is putting in this curve. I do like these patterns. Holding this trend line, holding this trend line here. So key level is this point of control we're currently at right now. The reason not only that is its area of confluence, tops and bottoms pivots. If we break above it, come back and retest, we'll be breaking above the 200 moving average and also the 50 moving average, which means we've got institution support on the long. If we can't hold that area and we break down, we can watch for a break and retest a pre-market low, and we'll be below the moving averages as well. I don't play moving, I only use them to indicate what the trend is. You know, when both moving averages are pointing upwards, then you know we're in an uptrend. If they're going sideways, it's going to be a tricky moment, and then that's a sideways moving average. And if the moving averages come back down, especially if we see the red, which is the 50, come in front of the 200 moving average, you know, they cross over like that, then we know that we're going to see some momentum on the downside generally. Okay, 44,230 is our bounce area, so keep an eye on that. And then finally Bitcoin, holding this level here, trying to hold that level there. We're looking at an inverse head and shoulders pattern potentially. Break and retest over yesterday's high will break this market structure. We'll look for longs. Break and retest below yesterday's low, we can see continuation on the downside. Pre-market high, pre-market low, pretty tight right now. That's it. Let's see what the market opens. Order flow is doing nothing more as well. Price is just going sideways. Let's go back to ES and just recap the levels I'm watching. I'm going to finish early. So ES, I'm watching for a rejection. 2 rejections at 60.95, this region here. Also I'm watching this region 61.20 over rejection. I'm going to watch for a break and retest a pre-market high, but I really want to see it take out those pre-market highs from earlier. And obviously if we sell off today, break and retest a pre-market low into this yesterday's low, and we've got a bounce down at 60.20 as well. And that's it. Okay, so trade safe. Manage your risk, and I will be back tomorrow. I'll also be in the live stream on the other stream. I'll be in and out of that most of the day, so if you have any questions, leave me a question in there and I'll get back to you. Okay, thank you for watching.